A million seconds is about 11 days. A billion seconds is about 31 years. But a trillion seconds? That's more than 31,000 years. Just thinking about a number that large is difficult. Yet for the first time in human history, one person has crossed the trillion-dollar mark. Not a country, not a corporation, one man, Elon Musk. But this story isn't really about Elon Musk. It's about what happens when a single individual becomes wealthier than most nations on Earth. Because when someone reaches $1 trillion, the conversation changes. The question is no longer, how rich is he? The question becomes, what does that much wealth actually mean? Most people hear the word trillion and simply move on. But our brains aren't designed to understand numbers that large. $1 million can buy a beautiful house. $1 billion can buy entire neighborhoods. $1 trillion is 1,000 billion. If you spent $1 million every single day, it would still take nearly 2,740 years to spend $1 trillion. Entire civilizations have risen and fallen in less time. What's even more fascinating is that Elon Musk didn't become a trillionaire by collecting a giant pile of cash. In fact, that's not how the richest people in the world build wealth at all. Most of their wealth exists in the form of ownership. Ownership of companies, ownership of ideas, ownership of technologies that millions or even billions of people use. While most people earn money by trading their time for a paycheck, the ultra-wealthy earn money because they own assets that continue growing year after year. Employees earn income. Owners build wealth. Elon Musk's fortune didn't come from a salary. It came from owning large pieces of businesses that became incredibly valuable over time. His journey didn't begin with Tesla or SpaceX. Long before the world knew his name, Musk was building internet companies during the early days of the tech revolution. He sold Zip2, then helped create PayPal, which was later acquired for billions of dollars. Musk did the opposite of retiring. He took nearly everything he had and poured it into companies that many experts believed would fail. Electric cars seemed impossible. Private space exploration seemed even more impossible. Yet Musk kept betting on industries that looked decades ahead of their time. Those bets eventually became Tesla and SpaceX, two of the most valuable and influential companies in the world. For years, Tesla was the primary driver of Musk's wealth. The company transformed electric vehicles from a niche product into a global industry. But Tesla alone isn't what pushed the conversation toward trillionaire status. The real game changer was SpaceX. While Tesla was operating in public view, SpaceX was quietly building something much larger behind the scenes. It wasn't simply launching rockets. It was reinventing the economics of space itself. SpaceX dramatically reduced launch costs, developed reusable rockets, secured government contracts, and created one of the largest satellite internet networks on Earth. Suddenly, the company wasn't just competing in the space industry. It was helping create the future of the space industry. This is where many people misunderstand how markets work. Investors don't just pay for what a company is today. They pay for what they believe the company could become tomorrow. That's why technology companies often reach enormous valuations. Investors aren't buying the present. They're buying a vision of the future. In the case of SpaceX, that future includes global communications, satellite networks, commercial space travel, national defense contracts, and potentially industries that don't even exist yet. When investors started assigning value to those possibilities, the numbers became almost unimaginable. But what happens when one person accumulates this much wealth? The answer is both exciting and controversial. Money isn't just money. Money represents resources. It represents influence. It represents the ability to make things happen. A person with access to vast amounts of capital can fund research, accelerate technological breakthroughs, support ambitious projects, and solve problems that others simply don't have the resources to tackle. Throughout history, some of the biggest leaps forward came from individuals and organizations willing to invest enormous sums into uncertain ideas. Railroads, automobiles, computers, and the internet all required people who were willing to take risks that most considered unreasonable. At the same time, extraordinary wealth raises difficult questions. How much influence should one person have? How much power becomes too much power? What responsibilities come with wealth on this scale? Yet focusing only on Elon Musk misses the bigger story. The real story is that technology is creating wealth faster than at any point in human history. Artificial intelligence, robotics, biotechnology, renewable energy, and space technology are transforming industries at an unprecedented pace. Somewhere right now, a startup that most people have never heard of could be building the foundation for the next trillion-dollar company. History shows that the biggest opportunities often look ridiculous in the beginning. Very few people believed in online shopping before Amazon. Very few people believed in electric vehicles before Tesla. And very few people believed private companies could dominate space exploration before SpaceX. The most valuable lesson here isn't that Elon Musk became a trillionaire. The lesson is understanding how wealth is created in the modern world. Most people focus on income. The wealthy focus on ownership. Most people focus on spending. The wealthy focus on acquiring assets. Most people think about next month. The wealthy think about the next decade. This difference in perspective is often what separates those who build lasting wealth from those who spend their entire lives chasing the next paycheck. The truth is that very few people watching this video will ever become billionaires, let alone trillionaires. But that's not the point. The point is understanding the principles behind extraordinary wealth creation. Because while the numbers may be impossible for most of us to reach, the mindset behind them is accessible to anyone. Long-term thinking, ownership, patience, and investing in the future are concepts that can improve financial outcomes at every level. $1 million changes a life. $1 billion changes industries. But $1 trillion changes history. Whether Elon Musk remains the world's only trillionaire or becomes the first of many, one thing is certain: humanity has entered a new era. An era where technology can create wealth on a scale that previous generations could barely imagine. And while most people will spend their time watching these fortunes being built, a small group will spend their time understanding how they're built. The difference between those two groups may determine who succeeds in the decades ahead. If you enjoyed this video and want more deep dives into money, investing, wealth, and the future of the global economy, make sure to subscribe. Because understanding the biggest financial stories of our time might just help you prepare for the future before everyone else does.